Hello. Today I'm going to record a video where I am going to tell you a story. And this story is going to be full of words related to ways of walking. But they are not used as a real way of walking all the time. Some of them, sometimes they are, but some other times they are used in a metaphorical way, the way people usually use them in everyday contexts. So the aim, the target of this video is to internalizing the language by way of drilling. Drilling means that is drilling is what you do when you go to a country where the language is spoken, but you do it unconsciously because you see what other people say, you hear what other people say, and you try to imitate what they say when you find yourself in a similar context. Since we are not surrounded by an English atmosphere here, I am trying to create that atmosphere artificially. So we have to automatize the language in a different way. And what better, is there a better way to do that other than just by drilling? But the drilling means that I am going to read a story, to you, and I will do it slowly. I will make pauses after a pause when I am making a pause. Please, you are free to pause the video and repeat orally. Anyway, I will include the script, a link to the script in the description of the video below, so you can have access to the text if you wish to. Um, so after the story, I will give you a follow-up task for you to do at home. Well, I invite you to try the experience and to do the activity. Well, and now let's go for it. Ready? Okay, here we go. This first episode, the title of this first episode is The Day I Stumbled into a Dream Job. Here it goes. You know, sometimes life takes you by surprise. It certainly did for me the day I stumbled into my dream job. And I mean that almost literally. For years, I had been wandering through my 20s with no clear direction. I drifted from one job to another, teaching here, traveling there, but I never really strode confidently toward anything. I was moving, yes, but without purpose. You know that feeling, right? When you are walking, but not really going anywhere. Then one morning, things took a turn. I was in London, desperately looking for work, and I trudged into this small language school, exhausted and half convinced I was wasting my time. The rain was pouring down, classic London weather, and my shoes were squeaking as I slipped into the reception area. People were trickling in slowly, most of them students, half asleep and clutching their coffees like life depending on it. I was waiting nervously when the director strode in. She was tall, confident, one of those people who walk into a room and own it immediately. She looked at me and said, "You are early. That's a good sign." Now, the truth is, I wasn't early for an interview. I didn't even have one. I just walked in, hoping to leave my CV. But before I could explain, she said, "Come in, let's talk." I stumbled through the interview, nervous, unprepared, saying whatever came to mind. But she must have seen something in me, because at the end she smiled and said, "You start Monday." I walked out of the office in disbelief. Actually, I think I was floating. The salary wasn't huge, but it didn't matter. I had walked straight into an opportunity I hadn't even known existed. Looking back, that day changed everything. From then on, I stopped drifting aimlessly. I started striding forward, setting goals, chasing them, even if I stumbled now and then. Because sometimes the best paths are the ones you walk into by mistake. Life doesn't always require a map. You just have to keep moving, even when you are not sure where the road is taking you. So, in this video, we saw verbs such as, and if you will allow me, I would like to share my screen. Okay. In the video, we saw verbs such as stumble into, uh, uh, which means that you almost trip over something and you almost fall. In this case, it meant to find or get involved in something by chance, or even someone. And I said, I stumbled into my dream job. We saw drifted from to which means to move in the air without control, or in water without control. For example, a boat, when the engine has broken down, drifts at the expense, at the mercy of the weather, of the wind. But it also means to change or move from one situation to another without a clear direction or purpose. I said, I drifted from one job to another. We used stride, forward or into. Stride means to walk with long, confident steps. In this case, I used it meaning to move forward confidently in life or in a situation. I said, I started striding forward with purpose. We used trudged into or through. Trudge means to walk with effort, usually because you are tired or because the conditions are hard. For example, if you're walking into mud, you have to trudge through the mud. But it also means to do something that feels tiring or discouraging, that is very hard to walk like mud. I mean, when you walk like mud, your feet are heavy, too heavy. The same happens when the situation is sticky and tough. I used it in the video to say I trudged into the language school exhausted. I used wander through or around. To wander means to walk slowly without a fixed route or a destination. In this case, to live, I used it meaning to live or act without clear direction or goal, wandering around. I said, I have been wandering through my 20s with no direction. I used trickle, trickle in, trickle into, trickle out. Trickle is the movement that is, for example, when you get or pick up a handful of sand and you let it drop. And by dripping down, this sort of dripping down is called trickling down. Or for example, in economy, when whatever happens to the top echelons of society will trickle down and will affect those below in economy. So that's trickle. When you get a handful of sand, pick up a handful of sand on the beach and you let it fall gradually. This is trickling. So it means to get somewhere or to enter somewhere or move into out of a place depending on the preposition you use slowly and gradually, one by one, or not one by one necessarily, but in small amounts gradually. In this case, we used it meaning to arrive little by little, often referring to people or information with this meaning. We said people were trickling into the school slowly. They were getting in slowly. We said stride in or out. Striding meaning to, we said that before, I think, I repeated myself, to walk with long steps and confidently. And we said the director strode in confidently. In this case, literally. We used it literally. Walk into a room, you know what it means. I walked into an interview or that I hadn't even planned before. And floating is like waltzing, means to move lightly or smoothly in the air as if you were flying, soaring. In this case, we used it meaning to leave, in this case, float away, leave feeling happy, dreamy, or in disbelief. Wow, as if you were dreaming. I walked out of the office, out of that office. Actually, I think I was floating. Okay. Uh, the task that I would like you to ask to do is try to record a short monologue at home. 1 minute, 2 minutes, a short monologue. And try to use at least 3 of the verbs that we used in the video, or I used in the video when I was telling you my story. And 3 ideas, for example, for your account. One is a time when you stumbled into something good by chance. Another one is how you have drifted from one interest or activity to another in your life. And then finally, a situation where you had to stride forward confidently or make a decision. So, well, this is it. I hope you find the experience illustrating and enlightening. And if we succeed in carving at least one or a few more ways of walking, especially applied to everyday life situations, well, I will consider myself satisfied enough. So good luck with this task, and I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for your attention.